So the last part of just the beginning of understanding how sequences work is this recursive thing. All right. And recursive formulas are weird because you can only find a term if you know the term before it. So recursive formulas generate the next term using the previous term. That means that if you want the 10th term, you have to have the ninth term. If you want the ninth term, you have to have the eighth term. You can't really skip ahead. All right. Um, these are normally exercised in patience. Do you have the patience? If it wants the eighth term, you have to take the first and find the second, and then find the third, and then the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh. There's no way to skip ahead unless you want to convert it into an explicit formula, which isn't impossible, but it does take some time. All right. So now there's some notations that we have to deal with. AN is the same thing we did before. All right. Plug in the N, see what happens. But now we're going to introduce this n minus 1 term, all right? And that means if we have a of 3, then n is equal to 3, all right? Because a of n, a of 3. So that means that a of n minus 1 would be 3 minus 1, which is 2, all right? This just means the term prior to the one we have, all right? It is incredibly important to understand this because the formulas that we are going to be using are going to consistently have n minus 1s in them, and they're also going to have n plus 1s in them. All right, a to the n plus 1 is the next term. All right, so again, if we have a3, that means the third term. That means n is 3. That means that n plus 1 is 3 plus 1, which is 4. All right, now, I already know that most of you are going to tell me this is the dumbest thing you've ever done. All right, I get it. It's an annoying thing. All right, but it is such an easy thing to get correct because it is seen as difficult because of the notation. All right, so that means that if you do it successfully, you're off to a good start, and they're very easy to do once you get used to just using them. There's nothing complex in there. You just have to get used to using them.